This is my review of TNA's Against All Odds pay-per-view. And going into this pay-per-view, the question was TNA going to be able to go against all odds and actually put on a much better pay-per-view than some of us thought they were going to be able to do? So let's see if they were able to accomplish their goal in that extent with this pay-per-view. We started the night out with a bit of a surprise, in my opinion, as far as match selection went. AJ Styles and Tomko versus BJ James and Bullet Bob Armstrong. People have complained about this match. I really haven't complained about this match. I don't know why this was on the pay-per-view. I don't understand why this was on the pay-per-view. I don't understand if they did this thinking that Bullet Bob Armstrong was going to be able to sell tickets in the area. I really didn't get it. I really don't know. I really don't understand it. But it was here. It was a bad match. It was a star-and-a-quarter match because there was some entertaining stuff in it. But it was forgettable. Let's never talk about it again. Thank you much. Let's carry on. Traci Brooks versus Miss Peyton Banks. This was surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be because for a couple of reasons. First of all, they only gave it about 5 minutes, which is what it needed to be. It was pretty much just a brawl, just them basically beating the tar out of each other, which is what it needed to be. It had a lot of heat on it. It was just a fun match to watch, and it's nothing you're going to remember, but it was okay for what it was, and so I'm willing to give it 2 stars, and there we go. Next we had Petey Williams versus Scott Steiner. After one of Scott Steiner's classic promos, we had and it was pretty interesting. It was pretty they set it up as 2 actual power lifter type guys, which is kind of corny. The match was a lot better than what it could have been though. It did have a run-in with some new woman who I've never seen before. I'm sure someone will let me know who it was, but overall, the guys were able to get in their moves. They were able to do their thing, and still, I think this was an enjoyable match, and I think people enjoyed it, and I give it 2.5 stars with that question. Next, we had James Storm versus Eric Young for the Drinking Championship. Lots of fun here. The fans were into it. The guys were having fun. The guys went out there, did their thing. A lot of fun in this match. The crowd made this match in a lot of ways, in my opinion, and I really enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. Definitely a 2 3/4 star match. Just a fun match. A fun match, which is something I don't always say about TNA pay-per-views. Matches is where they're fun, and this was fun. So there you go with that. Next we had Awesome Kong versus ODB. Another fun match. Another, I would say, like the match before, more of a sports entertainment match, but it worked, and it worked for what it was. I thought that it was a lot of fun. They got you believing that ODB was a credible challenger to Awesome Kong. Did a lot of fun stuff with her drinking. It was good for what it was. Another 2 3/4 star match, in my opinion. So there we go. And then we had the match that kind of revolved the pay-per-view around when selling it, which was the Barbed Wire Massacre. Now, I've watched wrestling for a long time. I've seen a lot of barbed wire matches. This is nothing, how I'm going to grade this is not against these guys. I like barbed wire matches, so I'm not someone that doesn't like them. I like them, which is one of the reasons why I'm going to grade this kind of harshly, because if you're going to do a barbed wire match, it needs to have blood. And when I mean blood, I don't mean guys' arms cut. Dave Metzler already kind of wrote on this, and he said that he felt it was a bloodbath, and that it was gory, and it was all of these things. And I watched it going, give me a break. Mesias, for those of you who have not seen the match, wrestled in his normal tights, so he had his little, Dean Malenko tights on, and took a bunch of bumps onto barbed wire, and didn't get cut. I think he got cut once. If you're going to take bumps on barbed wire, you've got to at least have some cuts. That's why you do the match, because it's supposed to be bloody. They had sold the match even during the pay-per-view that, hey, if you got kids, if you queasy stomach, you don't want to watch this, it's going to be brutal, it's going to be nasty, and in my opinion, they didn't deliver on that, and you have to deliver on that. This is the type of match which, if you do it right, it doesn't have to be great, but it will still sell the DVD once this comes out on DVD. And they didn't do that. So, I've seen a lot better, even in recent, I would say the mixed tag from When I Stand 2 was much more brutal than this. The 3-way from Hardcore Homecoming was far, far, far more brutal than this. So keep that in mind. As you know, I can only give this probably 2 3/4 stars because of that. Because this just was not, in my opinion, this was just them doing spots where they could have done them on tacks. They could have done lots of other things other than barbed wire. You do a barbed wire match because it's beyond that stuff, you know, and it needs to be beyond that stuff. And it just wasn't all of that stuff. So, there you go with that. Next we had Robert Roode versus Booker T, and this was disappointing. In that, I was watching the match, I saw Robert Roode actually go out there and put on a match that I got into. A match where I was like, wow, maybe this guy is as good as everyone says he is. And then, but he was in there with Booker T, so you don't know how much of that was true. But it was a good match. It was the best match I can remember seeing of Robert Roode's. And then they ruined it with a double countout, and a bad double countout. It wasn't even a good double countout. It was a bad no finish. It was a TV no finish. And they did it on a pay-per-view. I rip the WWE when they do this. I'm gonna rip TNA when they do this. This was a bad no finish. There are good no finishes and there are bad no finishes. This was a bad no finish. Took a good match and just basically just threw it down the drain, in my opinion. 2.5 star match because it was enjoyable while it was going on. They gave it 10 minutes, but then they didn't even give it a real finish, and that bothers me. And next we had the hardcore street fight for the future of the X Division title, basically, and this was very good, and whoever booked this, I salute, because they did a very good job in part of this, having me believe it was going to end one way, and it didn't end up ending that way. I'm not going to give it away, because I think if you watch this match, you'll probably see what I thought. They teased it twice, which was pretty cool. Lots of just plunder, so much so that at one point I was on Skype talking to the guys. I said, "Where's New Jack?" Because that was the only thing the match was missing, was New Jack. A lot of fun. A good 3 3/4 star match, in my opinion. Not great, because it did kind of lack some stuff. The Motor City Machine Guns did disappear through the last half of this match, which I was kind of sad to see. But overall, it was still a lot of fun and a solid match. And then we had the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match, Christian Cage versus Kurt Angle with Samoa Joe as a special enforcer. I have a problem with this match right away. Here it is. If you're going to put a guy in there, don't put him as an enforcer, put him as a referee. Put him as the special referee. I think it works better. I think it's better, particularly when they were in there and Joe was in the match as the enforcer. It was so much more exciting because he was going against Kurt Angle. And it worked out very well, in my opinion. But this was an excellent match. Excellent match. Good 4.5 star match. Probably the best match I have seen. Or 4.5. 4 1/4 star match, sorry. 4 1/4 star match. Probably still the best match I have seen from TNA in at least a year. This was just great, in my opinion. I know I've probably given some TNA matches that same rating, but this was better than those, in my opinion. But still, only 4 1/4 star match, but still a great match, and definitely saved the pay-per-view, in my opinion. They needed to end this on a high note. The last 2 matches really saved this from being pretty craptacular, to be honest, and a pretty big letdown. But they went out there, you know, they worked very well together. They gave them time to sum up. This went about 20 minutes. Excellent main event. Saved the pay-per-view, in my opinion. I'd still only give this a 7.0, with that making a good pay-per-view and not just okay. But this definitely saved the pay-per-view. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed. So far, we've had 2 TNA pay-per-views, and none of them have sucked, which is a good sign. But they need to elevate it just a little bit more, and then we'll be back to where I think they should be. But hey, there you go. I'm out. Have a good one.